that never ends. Well, eventually it will. Hi, everyone. Welcome. It's Monday nights with Dire Bear Adventuring Company. That means it's time for the Escorts, which is these lovely people all around me as I'm frantically waving. So, let's get through a lot of announcements that we have going on. So, the next few weeks for Dire Bear Adventuring Company, specifically this dude right here, is going to be super busy. This Saturday and Sunday, we have the Huntsville Pop Culture and Comic Expo. And I was only slated to run 2 shows, one on Saturday, one on Sunday, but now I am slated for 3 different games. That's one Saturday morning. That was almost like me flipping you off. One Saturday morning, one Saturday afternoon, and then one on Sunday. So come by, check it out, play. Masks are required. Put on your fucking mask. Look. I don't care what your political opinion is on it. Masks are like breath mints. They're not for you. They're for everybody else. Put on your fucking mask. Come play games with me. Then on the next Saturday, we're having Free RPG Day up at Lucky Dice Cafe. Oh, real quick. Back to the whole thing about the Pop Culture and Comic Expo. One of the things that you'll want to go to do is we have legendary bundles for D&D Beyond to give away. I will say that again. Legendary bundles. Not some cheap downgrade where it's just the core rule set. We're talking the whole kit and caboodle. And not 1, not 2, but 3 of those to give away. And there are some charity events that are going on where you can get a chance to win some more of those. Then the following Saturday, we have Free RPG Day up at Lucky Dice Cafe, where I will be running, I think I'm running Keyforge Genesis. I got to look at the list again. We have the whole list on the Free RPG Day for Lucky Dice, but we'll have 2 more legendary bundles to give away. That's right, 2 more. So over the course of 2 Saturdays, you could win, well, you're only going to win 1, but you have 5 chances to win a legendary bundle. That's amazing. And they're like almost a $700 value, and it comes with everything that has been released to this point. That being said, coming up soon, around the release of my birthday, as a matter of fact, is one of my favorite areas in all of Faerun and all of the Forgotten Realms, Icewind Dale. It is Rime of the Frost Maiden. It is the new setting and adventure in Icewind Dale. I had the pleasure and luck to run the intro to Icewind Dale adventure at D&D Live. So, and it's a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to playing in Icewind Dale again. I was a huge fan of the book series that started me off on reading Forgotten Realms and getting into Forgotten Realms with the Crystal Shard, which is where I first learned about Drizzt Do'Urden and then also about Icewind Dale, and I loved it from there. And then later on, the Icewind Dale trilogy came out, or the Icewind Dale game came out for computer, and I loved it actually more than I loved the Baldur's Gate games. And I like the Baldur's Gate games, but there was Icewind Dale because it's set there. So I'm really excited to see that. If you can't tell, I love Icewind Dale. So I'll say that again. Anyways, that being said, that's coming out in September, and I don't remember the exact date. I think it's like September 15th or 9th or somewhere around there. So pre-order that now because and I'm getting a hard copy of that because the alternate art cover is probably my favorite one since Volo's Guide to Monsters, which had the black and the silver illithid on the front of it. This one has the giant owlbear, but with the ram horns. It's the helm that she's wearing, but it's done in like blue and gold and silver, and it looks amazing. So that's coming out soon. Back to my schedule. So Free RPG Day on the 25th. Get out there. You can win some games and pick up some free stuff. There are free rules for new RPGs that maybe you've never played before, including Kids on Brooms, which is the Harry Potter, if I can say that out loud, Harry Potter-esque version of Kids on Bikes. That's right, you're playing young witches and wizards, and it's still, though, Kids on Bikes, which is a fantastic game series. And then the following week, starting Thursday, July 30th. Yeah, July 30th. 30th, 31st, the 1st, and the 2nd. That's Gen Con. Yes. Gen Con is all online this year. So, your chance to attend Gen Con from the comfort of your own home and play games with this guy right here. I have seating that is limited. You can request me. You just have to purchase the Moon Trilogy. It is Adventurers League. I am running Tier 3, which is a level 11 through 16. Yes, 11 through 16. So I'm running Tier 3 games for Adventurers League. So it has to be an AL, like actual AL character. So make sure you have one, level it up. You have some time as long as you just play like a mad person from now until then. But there are also some special events that I'm going to be running with the multiple tables all doing things to benefit one another and working together. And so it's going to be a madcap kind of fun thing. And so those are the next 3 weeks, 4 weeks. But those are the next 3 weeks coming up. So that's, again, the Pop Culture and Comic Expo that's coming up this weekend. Then we've got Free RPG Day, which even if you're not here local to Huntsville, get out to your local gaming store. Don't forget to ask. Get out to your local gaming store and check out some of the games they have going on. Support Free RPG Day. It's a fantastic way to look at independent gamers or game creators that are putting their stuff out there. And all of the games that I've seen out there are fantastic. And the kit, if you go to freerpgday.com, you can actually see what they've announced. And you can pick up some of the really cool stuff like WizKids, who makes like the Nolzur's miniatures for them. They're coming out with a really cool thing called Warlock Tiles, and it's 3D terrain that you can purchase and mix and move around. A lot like, what is it, Dwarven Forge? Yeah. But a little cheaper. Like their beginning dungeon set's huge, and it's only $100. But, you know, like I said, you can get out and get some of the free stuff that they have going on there. So, anyways, that's coming up. On to our own show. Yeah. Sorry. And about last week, sorry we weren't here. Somebody was recovering from mouth surgery, and I'm doing a lot better now. Like, this doesn't hurt at all. So we're going to go ahead and play some more D&D, because I think that's what everybody's here to see and do. When we last left off, our new group of adventurers, which we'll call, as Steve coined it, the New Knights on the Block, NKOTB, we're about to delve into the dungeon where the old dwarven holdout underneath the volcano. The mine stood open before them, ready to go in, their dwarven guide with them. As you all look, you step forward into the cold grasp of this this now dormant dwarven stronghold. As you step in, your dwarven guide leading the way, the door swings silently closed. Somewhere far away, Zora. Your breath catches in your chest as you awaken from a dream that shows fire and terror, and a nightmare that leaves you in a terrified sweat. You sit up in the bed that you've known for so long of your life there in your home city. Having celebrated one of the 4 major festivals that just happened. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's the Last Green. It's the
Green's End.
Yeah, Green's End. The festivities went well. The family is doing well. Maybe you had just a little too much to... No, you wouldn't have had anything to imbibe. That's not Zora.
She don't drink.
She don't drink. Something maybe in the food.
It was a turkey overdose.
Too much tryptophan. So you find yourself, though, sitting bolt upright. It is still dark outside, and the night is full of stars. The image that resonates in your head is of fiery feathers and terror. far removed from where you are. It's a distant place that you're not familiar with. And one of the first thoughts in your head is that you have to find your old party members. You have to find them. You have to know where they are. They have to be told of what happened, or at least what you can remember.
She's probably mostly packed because she knows staying up here during winter will just get her blocked in. So she would probably start moving around, getting ready to try and move out.
In that time frame, what is there anything else that you would like to note or that happened, and what are you going to be doing in that time frame before you leave, or what are you going to be doing? How soon are you leaving? I guess I should ask.
So it would depend on catching whatever trading train is going back out of there.
Okay.
So it'd probably be at least a couple days.
That makes good sense. So as you make preparations and start getting ready to head that way, Ezra and Tangaroa, the islands have been nice, and you were actually with Tangaroa's family long enough to see one of the transitions from where they were staying, making a migration to one of the other islands. And Ezra, being from where waters are colder and things are a bit more chilly, it's truly a magnificent sight to watch them move to these ships that are cabins on pontoons, and watching these families and how organized it is, and that there's no sense of self in all of this, that it's a sense of the entirety of the group, and everybody helps one another, and everybody benefits from one another, and it's a unique thing to see. They quickly erect structures that they'll be using, and it's again multiple pillars with walls that can easily roll up and down, made out of woven mat. The ceilings are mostly some hewn timber with fronds interlaced to keep protecting out there, and it works wonderfully for all of the rain that they get. But something has been nagging in the back of your mind for the last few days. Something that's telling you it's time to return to Jopus Landing. Tangaroa, you've noticed Ezra's unease.
Is something bothering you?
We've
Is
been
it too
gone.
hot?
No, it's fine. We've been gone for some months. Do you think we should go back?
Do you feel it's better that we return now? I mean, not that we would hear anything from them, but we haven't heard anything from them.
Not wrong in that sense, but maybe we should go pay a visit?
Alright. I think that's a nice idea.
Gives me an excuse to see Mom, maybe.
That's true. Alright, we will leave. We will leave in a couple days. Sound good? Sooner? Later?
No, that's fair.
Alright, a couple days.
Speaking of dear old Mom, Mello.
No!
Oh, did we forget something?
Oh,
Hey, buddy.
Chuck!
Walks
More like
in on 'em.
repressed.
Sailing up and down the coastline and around the Cape, the cold waters, you've started learning more about becoming a sailor. It's okay. What I would like for Mello to do, though, is give me performance checks. Give me 3 of them, please.
Oh my.
Can I give him long-range guidance?
No, you cannot.
Somewhere from the beyond, you hear,
Do better.
boy.
No, it's just whenever he gets close to messing up, it's just boy.
It's not giving me the extra. Oh.
Meow.
Well, it has it set up, and maybe I'm just bad at reading this, that it gives me proficiency, because I have it set up to give me proficiency when I do a performance check with a Cittern that Eleanor gave, but I can't just seem to do a straight performance.
Well, you're
I
doing.
can't
Are
see the
you?
number, rather?
We're
the
actually
performance.
going to be looking at your performance as a minstrel, as a person who plays an instrument. So what I would like for you to do is, if it is the Cittern is something that you would use for that.
Since he's been getting better at it, yeah, and
Okay.
seems to enjoy it. So yeah,
All right.
all right.
Go ahead and give me 3.
In that
then.
case, the first one is 12.
Okay.
Oh, math. No, 14.
Okay. You are getting decidedly better.
I'll say 19.
Indeed.
11.
All right. It's hit or miss, but let's see, 25, 19 is 44. Okay. Yeah, it's hit or miss, but you are getting decidedly better. When you are, I will say that you have, by playing more than just the Cittern, but like taking what you've learned from there, that you gain proficiency in performance overall. Not
All
just
right.
with the Cittern, but while you're playing.
Sweet.
Months of you having to restring certain instruments and realizing that a flute does not sound better whenever you bend it. Also, that when you play a reed instrument, that eventually you need to change the reeds out, because wood gets soaked and then it splits. And any clarinet player out there can tell you, you don't want a split reed. So, I don't know. I was a brass player, so hey, trumpet baby, because I can literally toot my own horn. Anyways. What I would like for you to do now is give me persuasion checks, and let's see just how well you do at wooing dear old mom. If that is something that you would like to pursue.
Well, the first is a nat 20, so that's 32.
Looking like you getting a daddy.
Do you need a second one? I don't.
I don't even know if I have a first one.
Oh.
Oh, my heart. Yeah, actually, because you are charming, but even that can wear off over time.
I'll say he can get
And
kind of grating.
again, is this something that Mela would like to pursue? I'm not going to force you into this. So.
Oh, yeah.
All right, go ahead and give me another one.
Almost the exact opposite, but still 15.
You get to where you start getting a little hackneyed. Some of your jokes are falling on deaf ears, but you think that that's because of more pressing information or more pressing things that she has. She's 2 very different people. When she's behind the wheel and the rudder controlling her ship, she's a very serious individual. But she jokes with you still, and you start to learn to read that in there. Go ahead and give me another one.
It's getting cranky. There it is. All right, so that is 17.
Okay. At the end of it, you think you've maybe worn down her resolve enough to where you actually start a courtship. So you are now, in your notes, courting Ezra's mom.
Against her better judgment.
We'll see how long that goes on.
Mm-hmm.
You realize that coming upon you is the large walls and the steel gates that are covered in barnacles in the lower half. The location that's become almost a second home to you from Port Awapal, and that is Jopus Landing. As you can see, you put into port, and she looks at you, gives you a kiss on the cheek before leaping overboard, saying, "We've got some information. We'll be in port for a bit longer. Make yourself busy." She doesn't say in a dismissive way. She's telling you that they're going to be in port for a little bit. Something about a squall that looks like it was rising up in the waves. So
I'll make myself useful, or at least entertaining.
all right. Sistari. I just want to say it's so nice to call you all by your real names again. How many times I was going, Keshi, Zastari. So, Zastari. When last we left off, you had received some information about something that was going on. So tell me, what happened during that time? Give me info.
Well, she's still not sure what to do with said information. She still thinks it's a trap, but if it's not and something's happening to a sibling that she does still like, she's gonna regret it for the rest of her life.
So she's heading home?
Yeah.
You arrive.
Against her better judgment.
The city.
She was waiting for the party because she didn't want to go alone.
Oh, that's right.
If she gets
You
into
were
the
waiting.
city alone and can't leave, then what was the point?
She's kind of stuck, right? All right, we'll come back to that in a moment.
Yeah.
Because there is at least one party member that I think stuck around Jopus Landing, maybe. Satiel. Muted.
Yes.
A new keeper of the knowledge, new keeper there at the monastery and library has been appointed.
Mm-hmm.
In that time, she came to you quite a bit to ask you for assistance and guidance in getting your information and help. There was also something else that you were studying, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. He was creating Dunamancy, quote unquote.
Give me investigation checks.
Okay. Investigation. How many?
Give me 3.
3? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So 12,
Okay.
18,
Mm-hmm.
and 20.
Okay. Your work is hit or miss to begin with, and as you start going over your notes, which you are an avid and precise note taker, you realize that you can come to refine some of the things that were working. You now have access to the lower echelon level spells that would be falling under Dunamancy class.
What level?
First and second level.
First and second, okay.
Yes.
So I need to remove some spells from my spell list then.
Now, I will caveat this.
Uh-huh.
Because of the tentative nature of you're still learning them, if you try to cast them at a higher level than what they are there for, there may be repercussions for trying to work the magic that way.
Okay.
So, if you are casting a Dunamancy spell, first of all, I'll need to know. I probably will because it'll be a spell. I'll be like, I've never heard of that one. Where's that from? And second, you need to tell me what level you're casting it at, so that way I can straight mess with you.
Got it.
Not that I would.
You said first and second?
First and second level. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I will unlearn the third and fourth level spells I had learned. Well, I say unlearn, I'll unprepare. But
There you go.
and I will put 2 more spells on my list.
There you go.
Just for Sarah. I'm going to leave that spell on my list.
I have concern.
Well, the first members to return to Jopus Landing, other than Satiel, who had kind of stayed there,
Mm-hmm.
is going to be Mello. A couple of weeks later, Ezra and Tangaroa make their way back.
Mm-hmm.
And then about a week and a half after that, Zora comes in with a caravan.
Right.
And the party is once again joined.
Yes. I'll also say that thing I wrote out in Discord.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, when people are back in Jopus Landing, not all at once, there will be a letter with that written out on it in people's rooms that they'll wake up to.
All right. As the party gathers once more to be around one another, Zastar, you realize that the protective shell of individuals that you trust has finally come together once more. And the thing that you've been dreading and putting off for so long might be time to actually fulfill. To whom do you broach the subject first, and how?
That's a good question. It's probably gonna be Mellow.
Okay.
It's nice to see you, Mellow. How was the trip with Oh my god.
Oh.
Eleanor? Is that how you pronounce it, Quentin?
Eleanor.
Eleanor.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I guess he's okay for Mom. Like, he's at least
I
got her
hate
name
that
right.
Steve remembered that.
I don't. I think it's fantastic.
How was the trip with Eleanor?
It was enlightening and invigorating.
How much of that did you spend hitting on her?
I mean, not all the invigorating parts.
You're a man of consistent habits, Mellow. I appreciate that.
I do what I can.
So I have a conundrum, and I'm hoping that your chaotic energy might be enough to help me find a solution.
All right, I'll think about breaking open the box. Think outside the broken box. Yeah.
So, I received a letter from my father.
All right.
Right, we remember how this all went down. Yes, the
Mhm.
kidnapping by my brother, being totally on the run from my family.
Yeah.
Yeah, received a letter from my father stating that he would like me to come home and that everything will be forgiven. Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds like a goddamn trap.
Yeah. Everything will be forgiven. I feel like that's assuming a lot. I mean,
That's kind of where I'm at. I'm like, everything will be forgiven, but I'm the one that needs to forgive you, not...
are you ready to forgive him?
I don't know, because he didn't say why he wanted me to come home. So it could be that somebody's dying, or it could be a plot to get me to come home by assuming that there are any sort of tendencies left towards a family that hunted me down for 8 years.
Is there any potential for them, I suppose they would say danger, for you, or say someone who came with you, to embarrass them more if things go south?
Oh, incredibly. If you think I don't have secrets for my family that would completely and utterly destroy them politically, you don't know who I am.
Well, then, let's lay our own trap.
I'm listening.
You have secrets. You have a pen and paper. If I don't come back,
And you would be willing to take on my family to deliver these numerous secrets?
assuming I'm not coming with you.
Well, I mean, I would like for all of you to come with me. It's also got a fairly large library. We can at least continue the search for a solution in the city.
Yes. Okay.
Setting a trap, though. Trap them with our own trap. I like that.
Can you spring a bear trap with another bear trap? Yes. Will you
He's-
want to?
Maybe not.
Depends on who you're asking to do it.
And I mean, if I walk into town with Ezra and Tangaroa standing behind me, I mean, let's be honest, those two are terrifying just by looking at them.
Intimidation is going to be helpful. I say we do it.
I'm inclined to agree. I think you were one of the first ones back, so they should all be back, hopefully, in the next week or so.
That is the hope.
And then, where is Mello gonna stay for his time at Jopus Landing once more?
The cabin on the ship.
Probably.
I mean, yeah.
Okay. Then
That's when he finds out she's a traditionalist, and she's like, "Not until we're married."
He's staying with Joe.
Staying with Dalt.
with the uncle, yeah.
Yeah.
No, Joe.
Dalt's a cuddler too. So
That was
was-
Bite.
What was the name of the shark dog?
Bite.
He's sleeping with Bite.
Yeah, he's leaving with Bite.
Zastari would then probably head back to her room in the monastery, because that's where she would have been staying.
I just thought about it. Bite does that thing that all dogs do whenever you get in the bed. They put all four paws like straight out to try to push you off the, but they're like really sharp talons. So it's like shing.
You'll
Ezra
leave,
comes
or the
back,
blood
sees
loss
those
will get
stairs.
you.
That is my shepherd to a T.
You slept with Bite, huh?
You just have to wear leather armor to bed,
I mean, it's light armor, so you can.
I guess.
Zastari's method of convincing Satil to come with them is that there is a library full of incredible amounts of knowledge in Pendle Vale City that might have more knowledge than what is here in the monastery.
He'd agree. It's books.
Yep. Her request for Zora would just be, actually, I'm trying to think, we know a bit about your family, right, Sarah?
I mean, she told him she has a whole mess of sisters and nieces and nephews.
Having read the family tree,
I'll link her. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
very detailed.
It was me just trying to remember if we had actually discussed it, but I believe we had.
Usually, I think on the first boat ride on the Tongaroa ship, she probably rambled about it.
Okay. For Zora, Zastari's just gonna ask for the emotional support because family.
Yeah, but didn't they kind of try to kill you?
A lot of people have tried to kill me, and I don't hold it against them.
Yeah, usually you kill them back.
Well, that's
Girls'
what.
Day.
No.
Not wrong.
No, Zora.
Not wrong.
Is she wrong, though?
Zora, we kill them back. Not just me. We.
So she's implicating you in the murder. But
No,
she's
that was self-defense.
Exactly. That's what we keep telling people. It was self-defense. They attacked us first.
We went there to get a cloak, not to murder a guy.
But I love how she's now implicated you. This is how she twists Zora. Just
What? I mean,
that's right. All girls' days out and then murder. That's right.
I'm not gonna kill anybody for you. It
And I wouldn't
Don't-
ask you to.
kind of feels like you're asking me to.
No, I'm asking you to help defend me because I don't know what's going to happen. Just like we help defend each other in the tailor shop. Because people are assholes.
We have to.
I would like to do this without bloodshed.
It's gonna end in bloodshed. We both know this.
I really want to avoid killing my family if at all possible.
I would really like to avoid killing your family too. I mean, I'll come, but I mean, let's not. There's no fight pits in your hometown that you're associated with, is there?
Not last I checked, but I haven't been there since I was 16, so Lord knows.
Maybe, yeah. I'll come.
We'll avoid the fighting pits.
I think they'll find us.
Probably. And then the two that arrive together. I need protection. More so than normal. And would prefer the preemptive protection of you two looking terrifying. Molly, you muted your microphone instead of unmuting it.
Hasn't that always been our job?
Yes, but I've never specifically asked you to be terrifying. You just are.
That's a bit
So-
offensive.
No,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's just like-
it's. She's never specifically said, I
Nice
need you to be
person.
terrifying. It's just been a nice byproduct of how big they are.
Standing there with your tusks and horns, like, I'm not terrifying.
I am cute.
I'm
We
cute!
know that you're a giant teddy bear, Ezra. However, people who take one look at you do not naturally assume that you are just a teddy bear.
I did.
Working on it,
Oh my
but
god.
it seems to
Are
be a
you-
consistent thing. It seems to be a consistent thing with you, so it's not like it's a big issue.
To be fair, I do
what
try
are we
to keep out
protecting
of
you
trouble.
from this time?
My family? Again? I don't know if you muted your microphone or not, Quentin, or if you were just mouthing.
Oh
the
no, I
words.
just mouthed it because I knew Ezra wouldn't say it, but I got halfway through the sentence and I'm like, ooh, Ezra wouldn't say that. Sorry.
My father wrote me asking me to come home, stating that everything would be forgiven. However, there is, as far as I know, there is nothing for him to forgive me for. And it's a little bit presumptuous for him to assume that I'm willing to forgive them. However, if somebody in my family is passing on that I still like, and I didn't go, it would haunt me. So I would prefer not to be haunted.
Did you receive this letter? Did you not message them back asking if there was something happening?
No, I did not. It arrived maybe a week and a half ago.
Well, it seems like all of us are back in town. Maybe this was what I felt like we needed to come back for, Tonga.
Could be.
And I can promise a range of...
One thing that is always on Ezra's mind. You've got one chance.
I know.
I'm not even giving you a 50-50 at this point.
No. Pendleton Vale City has some of the nicest gardens.
Wrong, I can't go now, sorry.
Which, given your two's proclivity for sneaking off with each other...
What are you asking us to do in the gardens?
Nothing, I'm offering it as a
Defile
day
them.
spot.
Why would we ruin perfectly good gardens?
I'm not
Are
asking
there better
you to ruin...
eateries there?
Oh my god.
I am
There's
food
several
find that we're
several
going
upscale patisseries.
You both were the only members of the party that left together. We are not stupid.
I didn't say you were stupid.
So, if there are nice gardens in Pendleton City, it makes for a good date spot.
Oh.
Oh, I thought you were thinking we were going to eat the plants or
Oh my
something.
god, no, please.
And the assumption.
I
Some
mean,
plants
I could.
are very good.
Vegetation is very healthy.
Exactly.
Now I'm just picturing it.
Yeah. Like a couple of goats just making their way to the garden.
Why are they both such himbos? Jesus Christ.
Why are you like this? Why are you like this? All
Somebody
right.
has to come in and go, hey, go!
Yeah.
And then
They got a
scamper
squirt
away.
bottle. Stop. They're chasing you out with a broom. Ezra kicks his feet up. Meh. All you see is the horns over the hedge, so that's what they immediately think. Jesus, the size of that. Oh my god!
The biggest goat they've ever seen.
What they didn't know is Satiel cast polymorph on him, who's actually a goat.
The greatest of all time. All right, so I think you've convinced the party to go along with you. Zora, do you let anybody know about the strange dream you had?
She'll probably hunt down Satiel and let him know about it. 'Cause
All right.
out of all of them, he's the most magic-y and probably know what she's talking about.
Sure. Finding Satiel is not that hard to do.
Library.
Well, even though he's not taken on any official role with the library because of his father being who he was when he passed, Satiel has kind of an unofficial role as kind of being one of the keepers. When you find him, he is being... there are about 4 people, and you can see a very tall... even though she is a little on the older side, this human woman that still shows that she was quite the beauty in some, and still is. But she's standing next to him, and they're having a conversation. You can see, like I said, there's about 4 other librarians around them as they're talking, and she is asking him in very gentle tones, and you can see the proximity with which she stands to him. Give me a perception check, please.
Three.
That she is standing close to him. Setio, what is your passive perception?
Passive is 16.
Okay. Zastari, having hung around and seen Setiel, please give me a perception check.
Nope, that's a D12. Uh, 17. No, 15.
Okay. Okay.
6.
Setiel, even though your passive perception is as high as it is, you're still a bit obtuse to certain things. Thank you. Zastari, being of the feminine wiles, you get the idea that the proximity and the attention that Laurel Hightower, the new keeper, is showing to him gives an indication that there is more than a passing fancy for our friend Setiel. Like you'll watch as she lingers her hand on his wrist just for a moment too long as she laughs at something he says. She takes the opportunity to go out of her way to find him and ask him about things, see if he's eaten and if he would like to have lunch with her. Sorry, Setiel. You're just...
Is what it is.
I
mean, honestly, with the way he's doing it, because of some of the stuff that Sarah and I have been talking about of what Zora would have been doing when she was at Jopus before she left, she was kind of doing the same thing. So in his brain, he's just like, oh, she's being a good friend. So he pretty much has friend-zoned Laurel for right now.
So he's friend-zoned himself.
More or less, like, yeah.
Oh yeah, look, friends.
Yeah, because I mean, like he equates it like, oh, Zora was doing this, now she's doing this. She's being such a nice friend.
Oh, you poor innocent child.
You also... one of the other things that you notice as a story is anytime that you are present or come around and Laurel is there with Satiel, she becomes a bit more businesslike and kind of stiffens. As you... Zora,
I was thinking, why is the oblivious one the chick magnet?
Because he's an Aasimar. Why do you think?
Because the other 2 males in the group are with each other, and the other one's banging that one's mom.
Okay, yeah, fair. You got me there.
And Aasimar literally says very beautiful human. So,
Yeah.
Zora, as you approach, you can see that Laurel is there. She stands for a moment, straightens herself up, and you can see that her demeanor, without even making a perception check, has changed. You have 3 sisters. Or not 3, you have 5 sisters. You know how it gets.
She helped marry him off too. So I'm sorry if I was interrupting something. I can come back.
And she looks at the other librarians, and she looks back at you, and politely, but very direct. No, it's fine. We were done here. I assume that you would like some of Satiel's turn. We will go and complete the studies and the talks that we were starting here. Satiel, if you're free later, it would be good to see you as always.
Oh, of course. Just let me know when it's happening, and I'll see if I can make some time.
Of course. And then she ushers the others away, and they are all kind of politely talking to one another. And you hear a little tittering laughter as though it's some sort of high school drama going down the hallway as it does. So, it is just the 2 of you in the hallway at the moment.
Hey, Zora.
Hey,
Hmm?
Random question. How much do you know about phoenixes?
Elder fire elementals?
Okay.
Why?
I mean, usually the only reason I'll have weird dreams is if I eat something weird or something like that, or just I'm really tired.
Okay.
Right before I came back towards here, or kind of what prompted coming back to here,
Mm-hmm.
it was a weird dream about just a phoenix or something that looked like phoenix. I don't know. It was just screaming in pain and like it was trapped or something.
There isn't a lot that could prevent a phoenix from going back home if they wanted to. They are legendary creatures for a reason.
I don't know. Maybe it was just weird dreams and excuse that. Just figured I'd ask. How are you doing?
Well, a little better, all things considered.
Yeah.
Still dealing with Dad passing. While you all were gone, I sort of unofficially took over a partial keeper role. So I've been doing a lot of administrative stuff here and there when I'm not working on my spellcraft or practicing new magic or inventing that new school of magic.
Oh, I mean, it keeps you busy at least, which is good.
It does at that.
And apparently we're keeping even busier. I'm guessing the Starry got a hold of you as well?
About what?
Her family?
What about her family? She just promised me books.
Oh, okay. You should probably ask her about that.
But I asked you. I know.
Going back
I know.
Going back to her hometown and dealing with family stuff?
While she's explaining that, his grin slowly spreads across his face.
What?
I was the one that got the letter, Zora.
You could have just told me that and just... You enjoy... I'm going now. Bye. And she just walks off back down the hall.
He just rolls his eyes and just goes back to his room.
Jerk. What a jerk.
Enjoying making me fumble my words.
That's what he lives for. As and he'll probably that night have finished distributing the note to the rest of the party members for people to look at.
All right. So there in the midst of the night, you distribute letters into their rooms, which they're no longer staying in the barracks in the back end. They actually each have their own room in the main, like, hall, like where your room is.
Yep.
Upgrades.
Now I've got to figure out how many corn dogs you can fit by volume inside of a 10x10 area.
Corn dog volume guessing man.
Well, here's the thing, though, is you think about it, it's 10x10, but that could be 10 feet tall, but like 2 feet. So you have to think about the volume of it in that area. So, anyways, now we'll have the answer for you all next week because I'll get off on a tangent.
I'm about to say, do not give me this challenge. I'll put it together.
How many corn dogs can you fit in a Tarrasque? If a Tarrasque can swallow whole a large or smaller sized creature. So you think, now it doesn't say how many. So let's say we'll go with the largest, which is a large creature takes up a 10x10 area. So there you go. Map that out. Somebody's going to do the math.
I'm going to do it when we're done tonight. Thank you.
You're welcome. So we'll have that answer for you guys here soon. Join our Discord where you can see the answer. Anyways, because I know you'll rise to the challenge, so to speak.
Yeah.
All right, with
just
the
to wait,
party...
I'll break something even farther later.
Yeah, it's fine. With the party, because I still am the DM, and I'll just go, you know what? Get you down to 100, under 100, and go power word kill. Anyways.
Counterspell.
With the that's why you have 4 archmages in that group.
Yeah, that's why I go plane shift.
All right. With the entirety of the party on board, you make your way overland to your home. Well, what once was your home. The trip is easygoing compared to the what almost seems like chaos of your life before you guys took a bit of a break from adventuring. Other than dealing with some weather here and there, the whole entirety of the trip was calm, cool, and collected. As soon as you arrive in the city, Zastari, immediately you recognize a shift in the tone. Normally the city itself, which is gorgeous, and has banners waving and flapping in the air, the banners have been changed out. Your family is the ruling family of this particular city. And so your family crest is still on the banner, but instead of the vibrant colors, they have been replaced in a simple black and silver threaded. Black banner with silver threading. And immediately you know what that means. That means the passing or the mourning stage is set in. Tell me about the city. What does it look like? How big is it? Tell us about the city.
Yeah. God. Yeah, I don't know if I ever actually thought that far.
That's okay.
I wouldn't call it a sprawling metropolis, but it's close.
So not the size of Waterdeep.
No. But
More
you're
like...
definitely looking... Is Baldur's Gate smaller or bigger than Waterdeep?
Baldur's Gate is smaller.
You're looking at the size of Baldur's Gate.
Marginally smaller.
Yeah. Looking at the size of Baldur's Gate.
Okay. Luskin would be smaller than the two of them, so...
What's this city's name called again?
Pendleton Vale City.
Pendleton.
It's definitely... You can definitely tell when you start getting into the noble families areas. the everything is just better kept. And it has a few major gathering areas, large marketplace. It's not a port town, but it has a large mining constituent.
So probably built at the edge
Edge
or
of
the
a
base
mountain.
or into the mountains.
Yeah.
A mountain range. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not uncommon.
I hate to interrupt.
Mm-hmm.
120,470.5 corn dogs.
I'll sleep.
I don't have to do it now. Thank you.
Thank you. That was enlightening. And see, this is why you all need to join us on Twitch.
Type that into the Twitch. This is why you need to spread the love and the word, because we figure out the hard to answer questions. How many
Listen, I went all the way up to
fit into a
Calc
terrace?
2. I want to use it for something.
There you go. Type
Carry
that
on.
into Twitch for me. Yes, I apologize. Go ahead.
Wow. I just lost my entire train of thought.
Built into the mountains.
Yeah,
utilizing it.
Yeah, it has its own religious district, but its religious district is tied in very heavily with whatever noble family is in charge at the time. So it is constantly in flux.
Right.
Yeah.
The Hogans are Irish Catholic, and the O'Shaughnessys are Roman Catholic. So depending on who's ruling at the time, you get to choose.
Something like that. It's all like a flavor of Catholicism. It's just dependent on,
Just different flavors of guilt at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
And how big the communion wine shot glasses are.
But each family has their own library, but there is a big library that is open to those of noble rank or who have the proper...
Not just anybody.
No. These are not sacred texts, but they haven't ever been replicated and they haven't been copied so as to preserve them. So...
You say this like it'll stop him.
No. It's just it's the explanation of why it's not open to just anybody, because they don't want them to get damaged because they have not been replicated.
They don't have the scribes like the library that Joe was finding.
Gutenberg has not shown up yet.
But a lot of that is because it's usually
take inspiration for the well-placed reference.
It usually falls to the noble family in charge, and it never seems to be an important thing to them. Now, that may have changed if her family's in charge and if it's her brother running it, and there may now suddenly be scribes fixing and copying texts. So it's all dependent on who's in charge in the family. Because who the hell died?
Yeah, that's the question.
Uh-huh.
You make your way to the very familiar district. As you approach the gates, you can see the guards there stop you immediately, asking for right of admittance.
She's gonna pull out her locket, which is the only thing she ever kept from being a Zilfina, and show it.
They both recognize the locket, and immediately they bow their head, and our condolences to you and your family. And they stand aside, allowing the gates to be opened.
And she'll step through with the understanding that her party is coming with her, because if they don't...
Yeah. Like the shirt says, and I love this, I need to get this. If the guards attack one of us, we all roll for initiative. So you make your way to your very familiar house. How ostentatious is it?
Incredibly.
Excellent. I like it.
Actually, if they remember the story that she told back on their first stay on the boat about somebody being rescued out of a house, this is the house. So Satiel probably puts 2 and 2 together that the person who was rescued was herself. Because she was very descriptive of how she escaped from the 3rd floor up onto the roof and over the roof. I'm assuming that all of the 3rd floor windows now have bars. It looks like the facade. It fits in with the facade, but you definitely can't get out of those windows anymore.
Well, all of them are currently closed, and the curtains, which are normally the windows, are opened, at least, allowing for it, but you can see that everything is closed. On the front door, there is it's the big double doors, and you can see that on one side of it is just a black tabard that hangs down from the top to the bottom. No markings on it. Nothing of that matter. Just that. As you approach, the door seems to open as though they predicted your arrival, but you can see that they did not. As a startled, one of the man-at-arms, lady-in-waiting,
Butlers,
maid,
Footmen?
butlers, footmen. That's sort of one of the. I don't want. I bite down on the word housekeeper because it's not what it is. They have more station than that. But one of the servants then wheels around and sees you, and immediately, even though you've done some alteration to things, recognizes you. Immediately throws open the door and starts crying out loudly, which is unbecoming of them. Definitely not something that your father or brother, oldest brother, the one that kidnapped you, would have really put up with. But immediately you can watch as people start to flood to the doors, and it is the staff, and they are doing their duty to line up and show that they are prepared for one of your arrivals. Doing what they do, which is taking your cloak from you and making sure that it's folded over their arms nicely. And they go down the line and do this to each and every one of you in turn. Your cloak is taken and held nicely, and then immediately that person peels off to run around to the servants' entrance to wash and launder and clean everything. Any of your luggage that you may have had with you, anything that you're carrying with you, your backpacks and things like that, are taken and stowed for you. The head of the house moves forward. He's worked for your family for years. He snaps his feet together and bows at the waist as he is taught and trained to do. We are glad that you are able to make a return. Your father awaits you in his room. We'll make sure that your friends and allies are well tended to, but he has asked to see you immediately upon your arrival.
Of course. What's happened?
It is not my place to say. Your father will explain everything. And he snaps his heels and kind of spins around to stand beside you and fall in place beside you, and he holds his arm up.
She's gonna look down at what she's in, which is the shorts, yeah, and she's just like, I need to change.
Of course.
As much as I would love to just show up to my father in this, if he's the one who's dying, then No need to send him to an early grave.
He just kind of clears his throat and like tips his chin up. Of course. Your room then.
Yes. She kind of turns to the others. You all have a run of the grounds, if you'd like. Satiel's second floor, third door to the right, I believe, is the family library. I'm not sure what you'd find, but I'm sure something might be of use to you.
Already gone.
Yeah, no decorum for
No.
Satiel. He's just
No.
like in the door.
And she's just trying to like rack her brain about something that would be suitable for everybody at the manor, and she eventually finds something for everybody, with the exception of maybe Zora. But she does offer the library as well, in case Zora would like to go make sure Satiel doesn't burn things to the ground.
She knows he probably won't damage books, because they're books. She just kind of like motions at Star and she's like, take care of what you need to take care of. I'm sure we'll all find something to do. Just contact us if you need us.
There is a footman who is at your left side with his arm up like this, just waiting for you.
And she'll let herself be escorted to her old room.
No.
No.
Besides Zora.
Yeah.
I'm fine. I'm good. I'm good. Just go. I'm gonna go back outside. Just
Right. He looks at the head and he's like, he just kind of holds his hands up. Right. Puts his hands down and kind of heads inside. Zastar, you were led to your room, and there are any number of very familiar, albeit stifling clothing that you have once worn. Several of your the ladies and handmaids attend you, helping you get changed and basically doing a good job of cleaning most of the road grime off of you without fully investing in a bath thing. And after a few minutes, you are presentable. You are then led to a very familiar room.
It's the room where I've been demeaned and punished and all sorts. Not one that leaves me with fond memories, but memories nonetheless. Oh, sorry. There is a full parchment written of her family's secrets in Mello's possession. Just for the record, it is about 4 parchments long. It is 4 parchments long, and it is in Mello's possession.
All right. You're led to a very familiar door or room. Normally, he would knock and wait for entry to be allowed. However, you watch as he opens the door and stands back out of the way, allowing you entry. Very much outside the normal decorum that he shows. The room is dark, or I should say dim. There are but 2 candles on the bedside. The form of your father, normally very stern and proud standing, lies in repose on the bed.
She'll cautiously approach until she is standing next to the bed.
He opens his eyes and you can see the very tired look on his face. The color, the traces of color that were normally there are gone, and his hair has turned more snowy than you recall. Welcome home, daughter.
It's been quite a few years, Father.
True. It has been quite a few. I'm glad that you were able to make it.
must admit that I was hesitant.
Of course. You probably thought it a trap.
Well, I mean, your letter did... well... Asking me to come home without explanation and saying all will be forgiven sounds quite a bit like a trap. Especially given the fact that you have hunted me tirelessly for 8 years.
Well, Chrysalia, daughter, you went against everything that our family stood. You shunned and spurned us. Now that I find mortality's doorstep, find it only right to forgive those transgressions. I will stop you there, for you are my child, which means that you are easily riled and will be quite glib if given the chance. I know that I am not without fault. But the perception was that you did me wrong with what you've done. I am leaving those perceptions behind. Whatever life you choose, I accept it. Your family, your brothers, your sisters, your mother, no one else will hunt you down. But understand, you've taken on this new mantle. What is it,
Zistari, Father.
Zistari. Zistari will be who you are from now on. My daughter is no more. I absolve you of these troubles that darken our doors.
So you've called me home to tell me you killed your daughter then?
Ah, fool child.
Or will you accept me as I am?
You don't understand what I'm saying.
I wish
Course
to.
not. Chrysalia is no more. I know only this woman who stands in front of me as the Starry. She bears a mark. She bears a semblance to my daughter, but she is not. Again, I say these words: the troubles that darken our doors are not yours anymore.
What happened to the family?
At about that time, sweeping into the room is another familiar figure. Older, but still as pretty as she was when you remembered her when you were a child. Your mother looks at you and smiles and moves across the way to hug you. Your father closes his eyes and is breathing shallowly, and your mother ushers you from the room. Let him sleep, dear.
It's good to see you again, Mother. It's, I want to apologize, but the words stick in my throat.
I apologize for leaving us all. Apologize for abandoning your family. Apologize for what? Traipsing about the countryside as though you're somebody you are not. Are those the things you wish to apologize for? If that is the case, then I apologize for every dime I spent trying to drag you back. I definitely apologize for having your brother go after you. He's a fool.
A fool he may be, but he would have succeeded had it not been for a random traveler passerby.
Well, seems like you're more protected than I could think of. So, your father summoned you here and you've made it here. Did you say goodbye?
He has allowed me to be this, to be Zastari, to not
Good
be
for him.
Kosalia anymore.
And good for him.
You don't agree, Mother?
I am soon to be the only one left here. The matriarch of the family.
And
I will have to hold this name and family together by my own. That's not true. Your brother will take over as right of heir.
Silverl? Really? You would trust him? After
No.
he couldn't even bring home the youngest of his siblings?
No, I merely plan to puppet him around, to be perfectly honest with you. But those aren't your troubles anymore, are they, Zastari?
No, I suppose not. But see, here's your trouble. I know much about this family that could ruin you. And I'm not sure that it's things that you would want known, nor things that I'm sure my brother would want known, including that he dragged me across the countryside nearly naked, in the accompaniment of another man? How would that look for the family? And that's just the tip of the proverbial iceberg. So, Mother, I have just one thing to offer you. And you might find it a little bit more, shall we say, beneficial than puppeting my brother around. You do know what a spy is, don't you? And you do know that I can get in anywhere. And if Kosalia is no longer part of the family, and I am Zastari, there is no issues or shame associated with the family. And you could have had that. And you could have been having it for the last 8 years, but instead you decide to bring the shame upon yourselves. Nobody knew who I was. And you've hunted down an innocent circus. Wasted countless gold trying to bring me back. So, Mother, do tell me, what happened to the family?
It was your father's choice to try to bring you back. God only knows why. If you wanted to run off and be whatever it is you wanted to be, join the circus. That was his decision, or your decision to make. I didn't care. You didn't want to be a part of this. You spurned everything that was offered to you. Why should we ever try to drag you back? But he is the leader of this family. Or at least he will be until his own expiration. I care not.
Sorry, can I roll an insight check on that? Because she's got warning bells going off. Like,
you may.
You bitch. That is a 17 on the die. +5 for 21.
22 and
22, sorry.
That's okay. There was definitely something in what she said with his own expiration. Something in the way she said it was a bit too gleeful. Your father was always a stubborn man. Would never listen to me. Nearly broke us in all of his decisions to try to drag you back. God only knows why. If you want to be Zastari, I have no troubles with it. Go. Be Zastari. Take your friend with the large horns. Oh, well. Ezra in...
Yeah, he would have gone human form.
Take your strange friends and whatever. Stay the night, eat our food, and then leave. As far as I'm concerned, you are merely here as counsel.
How much time do the healers say that Father has left?
Days. A day, maybe.
Right. Of course. Well, I so loved our chat, Mother. Let's do it again sometime. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'd like to get out of the dress.
Tell the handmaids to burn it when you're done. With that, she wheels into the room where your father is laying.
Zastari doesn't go get changed of the dress. She is running immediately to the library.
Is she wearing her boots underneath the dress?
Yep.
Okay.
Like, she just hikes up the dress a little bit and runs to the library.
All right. In the library, you will easily find Satiel. And who else? Who else went to the library? Or the rest of you just exploring the house? Like, don't mind me. We're here inspecting the place.
Question.
We're inventing billiards too.
If there's a garden, that's where Zora is.
Is this library any way out of order?
No. Her brother is really meticulous, so it is absolutely in order, and it is arranged by subject matter, and then is arranged by author in alphabetical order. All of the scrolls have little tags that are hanging off of them so that he doesn't have to keep pulling scrolls out to figure out what they are. No. Her brother has organized the hell out of this library.
He has an entire pile in front of him.
Well, it was organized.
It's just like, oh, he's gonna kill you for that.
The malicious part of Satiel I just want to put back in different order, but the problem is it's just one book and it's only slightly out of order, but in each subject.
I mean, yeah, actually, first off, get out of my head.
First of all, does Satiel have a malicious bone in his body?
Yeah. Yes, he does. He doesn't show it very often at all, but he does. I mean, the entire party has seen him lose his temper a little bit.
All right, so you have an entire book or stack of books in front of you. Any subjects in particular, or are you just like, ooh, this looks interesting?
Basically, whatever looked interesting.
Great.
One of them might be something called Tusk Love, who knows?
In the distance, Zora approves.
One of the ones that you pulled off is a purple book with gold lettering in it, and you can tell that the cover of it is stitched, and it is all about the lineage, treatises, and deals that have been made to establish the ruler and like the parties down the line of the city. So, like, from the founding of it to everything.
Okay. So now that he has that entire thing memorized. Yay, keen mind!
Yeah, but you can only shove so much in that drawer before it starts getting a little full.
Yeah, but as long as he remembers it long enough to just copy it down later, it's fine.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, sounds good.
Is anybody else in the library with him?
I think it's just him.
Anybody else? Zora's in the garden. Where are Ezra and Tangaroa in all this? Kitchen.
Kitchen. What food? No. Ezra would probably just be moving around, like exploring the house, but also not staying in one place too long because he's sort of uncomfortable being in a house like this.
I mean, let's not get the word house overused here. We all know what
mansion.
this is.
This building,
This is a
mansion.
tower, this
manor.
too big, too much.
Yep.
Don't like.
And she grew up here.
Like, this is a French chalet. This is an English manor. This is, we're talking like upwards of 30 people working in the house just to keep it operating.
I heard there was a garden.
There was a garden outside. It's beautiful.
Don't go goat eating.
I won't. More than a handful.
No, feel
Yeah.
free. Destroy the garden. She doesn't care.
So, yeah, Setiel's sitting there with a load of books in front of him.
Just random mismatch.
She's just gonna stop in front of the table like, oh, he's gonna kill you. You better put those back where you found them.
He just looks up, gives her a look that just screams.
She's just like, yeah, no, she's saying it because she has to, but a part of her is like, no, put them all back in the wrong place, all of them.
Yeah, but the whole look she's getting is, do you not remember where I grew up?
And then she's going to pull a chair up next to him and
He's
have
a fancy
it
library.
turned so that she can just lean in and whisper to him. Because A, she knows that the walls have ears because that's how she got 90% of the information on her family. And B, she's not sure who's listening.
Smart.
Okay.
C.
So,
Would Satiel know that?
she's going to tell him. That's literally the first thing she's gonna start with.
Fair? Okay.
Is, okay, 1, this house has ears. 2, I don't know who's listening right now, so you are going to keep your voice down. Very quiet. And 3, I am 99% sure my mother's killing my father. And I
What
will.
languages do you know?
She knows Celestial.
He's asking this
Common.
in character.
Yeah, she tells you Celestial, Common, and Elvish, and then another language that he wouldn't know anyway.
Are you sure about that?
Do you know Thieves' Cant?
Okay, no.
Suck it. I know you don't know that one.
But tongues, though.
That's still no. But I mean, yes.
Question.
Technically, tongues won't work with Thieves' Cant.
It won't?
Because Thieves' Cant isn't a language, so to speak, as much as it is a use of code and things like that. So you can understand what they're saying, but it's what they're saying that it makes it the difficult part.
Okay, fair enough. Okay.
Like listening to two Scots and full-blown slang.
Yep.
Nice.
It's like listening to full.
So he'll switch over to Celestial.
She's still gonna keep her voice down because she's not sure what languages her family would have picked up while she was gone. But she also switches to Celestial. And
Why do you say that?
something she said. I'm not stupid. I've been doing this a long time. I know my family. She said she was too happy about him hastening his own demise.
Your father, I assume?
Yes. Who, for the record, before my mother even showed up, he forgave me for everything I had done that was a insult or hardship to the family. Said that if this was who I wanted to be, if Zastari was who I wanted to be, he was okay with it.
What else did he say?
It was I didn't get a lot of time to talk to him. But I'm pretty sure he's not gonna last to see a couple more dawns.
Hmm.
The mother said that the healers think that he's gonna be gone as of tomorrow, possibly a couple days from now.
Well, I do know some healing myself. That my father taught me. I might.
She's planning on letting him die, or killing him herself, whichever it is, and then puppeting my brother, who you've met and is an idiot. Despite the extensive library we're sitting in, he's an idiot. He does not understand when people are manipulating him. I did it for years. He is not the most insightful person.
Is that the one that we found on the... No, you weren't there. Never mind.
If it's the one that just showed up without his horses...
Yeah, I remember now.
That's him.
It's been a bit. Yeah.
He's not the most insightful.
I think Zora likes that horse.
Yes, she's keeping it. I'm not letting her give it up. It's her horse.
She rode into town on this horse.
Damn right she did.
Well, I mean,
if full of flowers.
If he tries to take the horse, I'll be free to banish him to another dimension. But...
Well, I mean, that's okay. Yes, but that's not the point.
Never mind. What did your father tell you during that conversation?
Okay, just the basics of it is that he forgives me for the hardships that I caused, and that there's something going on here. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's tied to whatever the hell that we have going on. But what I do know is that, I mean, my mother is killing him.
Is your entire family a bunch of assholes?
Yes.
That's the feeling I'm getting. Okay,
And I hate to say that it includes me, but it includes me.
Oh, I knew that already.
You did not have to agree to that so readily.
Have you known me to lie?
That's not what I said. You just didn't have to agree to it so readily. There could have been a little bit of hemming and hawing and thinking about that. That was immediate.
I mean, you've given me... Never mind. I need the specifics of what your father said, not just a generalization.
She shares it. As well as she can remember, mostly because me, the player, can't actually remember the exact wording, but...
Me, the player, does.
Yeah, she shares it. She shares it. Like, she might get like a word or two wrong, but the connotation's still correct.
Oh. Well, it could be the optimist in me. Have you thought that your father is trying to help?
I don't know. I think he might be actually trying to make amends.
From what it sounds like what he's trying to do is effectively disown you from the family, cut all ties that you would ever have to them, and try his best to make amends so you can leave and never have to deal with the family again with a blank slate. With whatever time he has left, he's trying to at least do the best he believes he can as a father should. That's what it sounds like to me.
I'm inclined to agree, but I don't know.
Well, my next question is given all of the vitriol you've thrown around in the time we've known you, at the risk of sounding callous, why do you care? This is a family that you, by your own admission, effectively hate. That you never wanted to come back to. That you've always been running from. Your father is from the sounds of things, literally giving you the perfect out. So why do you want to jump back into it again?
Because even if I don't like them, they're still my family. And I think that there might be more to it. His exact wording was the troubles that darken our doors. There's something more. And even if I let this happen and let her do whatever it is that she's doing, my family has control of the city. And I don't know how. We were middle class. Even amongst nobles, that's not enough to be in control of a city. That would take years of political planning and advantageous marriages to even remotely consider being a possibility. So the fact that in 8 years they are now in charge of the city, and I would understand completely if you guys just want to go. I won't ask you to stay. I've already asked enough with you guys to come here.
I've been warned many times to... There's some things that, despite me wanting to get involved in, I shouldn't. And everything that's happened in our travels thus far, I'm not sure this is one of those things we want to get involved in. If your family does indeed control the city, it would be us 6 against a city. I mean, I get that. I've seen a lot just from the time I've been in here about all the stuff that your family's been up to these past 8 years. I mean, there's all kinds of bequeathing of titles from the previous lord that appointed your dad, the leader from your mother's father, your grandfather probably, I think, on your mother's side. It's honestly a little bit concerning that it was that generous with information, but...
No, that sounds like my brother being the bookworm he is. Can I see that?
The book or the notes?
The book.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and she'll take it, and she's actually looking at it with the idea of looking for any sort of message that is inputted in those words that he wouldn't have caught because he doesn't speak Thieves' Cant. Because it would also be a written code.
Give me an investigation check on the book.
That is 15.
Not any code. But you know how this works, how this city and how the government here works. What was basically your grandfather on your mother's side, which, understanding that your mother and your father was a marriage of arrangement. It was a marriage of convenience, not convenience, I think that's the right word, but
it was an arranged marriage.
Political.
Yes.
It was a very political thing. And that while it was political, your grandfather and your father were not always the best of friends. It was advantageous, is the word I'm looking for him to marry his daughter to your father. The other thing that you notice that she is not any sort of power within her own home, but it will tie them together. the bequeathing of titles and opportunity and property in the way that it did is unusual. It is unheard of and unprecedented in any of the previous transitions from noble houses.
Well, this isn't normal.
Well, I mean, I kind of gathered that.
No, I mean more so than just a lord with no heirs. These are families who had other heirs that this land could go to. Why is it being given to my family? What fucking sorcery is this shit?
Very eloquent.
Which sounds really weird being spoken in Celestial. Things you didn't know that could actually be said in Celestial. Words coming out of Zastari's mouth. You're probably right. We probably shouldn't get involved, which is why I'm not going to ask you to. But there is that large library that you guys can go through for information about me going back through my notes. Hang on. There may be information for a god killer in that library. Specifically, a spell, a weapon, perhaps even an incantation, or a ceremony, who knows.
Well, I mean, I can look. I already kind of have an idea of one, but...
Yes, but you're going to find it in a big library in another ward. It's not going to be in this house.
No, I mean, we need to go find the pieces.
Yes, and you may have some leads to where those pieces are in the
3
library.
of them, actually. But I can cross-reference with my father's notes, I guess.
Yes, it wouldn't hurt.
I suppose.
And, perhaps we can minimize the time that we're here, ask the others to help you.
I could
The
ask
family
Zora.
hunting dogs are going crazy.
Yeah,
it's okay.
I could ask Zora, I guess. She's been helping me out when we were back in Jopus Landing before she left.
I'm aware.
I know you are. I saw you watching.
You do know that High Hall has been hitting on you for the past month, right?
I mean, she's smacked my arm a few times, I guess.
No. Satil, she. I'm gonna switch to common just so you understand how crass this is. She wants to fuck you.
You can't cuss to the cinnamon roll.
I can't cuss to the cinnamon roll in Celestial, which is why I had to switch to common.
That poor Cinnabon. What are you gonna do to him? How does he take this? He doesn't even understand.
She wishes to have carnal relations with you.
I feel like actually
snoo.
I feel like saying that, like she wants to have carnal relations with you, would actually make more sense to him than saying she wants to
fuck you. Yeah. I can't tell if you're just too dense or too focused on other things to have caught on.
Do keep in mind that I'm still grieving the death of my father.
I understand. I am aware. Again, I never left Jopus Landing.
I know you didn't.
Anyway, she wants to have carnal relations with you. Do with that what you will. I would not suggest it. For the record, would not suggest.
Why?
You know what? I will tell you when we leave Pendleton Vale City, after we're done here. I am not telling you right now. I refuse. Nope. Nope. You can stew on that and figure it out, or I will tell you when we leave. Full stop. You need to take time to figure that out. Me telling you is not... No. Not appropriate. Anyway, I'm gonna go find the others and let them know that there will be rooms here provided for them tonight. Dinner is probably going to be a moderately formal affair and that we will probably need to change. And for the love of God, try not to embarrass yourselves at dinner.
It's only me in here.
Yes, no, that was more just me thinking that I'm going to have to explain to people etiquette. Oh god. This is why
The centerpieces are not the appetizers.
Smash cut to the three in the garden eating like a bush.
Tongaro, no, not that one. That's the olive fork.
That's Nightshade. What are you doing?
That count as being poisoned? I'm immune. I could eat that, right?
Technically.
Tingles.
Just
My lips are a little numb, but it's nice.
Just go do what you need to do.
Why is it spicy?
I'm gonna keep doing research. You go do what you need to do, I guess.
Yeah, let me know if you run into anything in the library that you can't get into.
That's not gonna happen.
Please don't destroy the library. I don't know what my brother has put on some of these books, so if you're opening something he doesn't want you to get into, proceed with caution. This was my brother's domain. Not fine. Anyway, I will see you at dinner. And, formal clothes, if you have them.
Okay.
There's no need to insult my family, if we can help it. I'd rather not wind up finding out people are dead in their beds when we wake up in the morning. Anyway. And she just kind of, like, pats his hand lightly, and then goes to the garden, since she's assuming that's where some of them are gonna be.
Just after she's left, he's just like, why is she telling me that when she's the worst perpetrator? and then proceeds to misfile everything.
You are able to find the three of them in the garden, but a better question is, he's down there with a mischievous-looking grin on my screen. Mello, where have you been?
Well, I found a kitchen.
There's only one.
Oh,
It's
okay.
big, but it's one.
I may have moved things from that kitchen to the garden, and
Oh, like what? Because I'm going to tell you, first of all, with as much moving and bustling and things like that, you're going to get whacked with a spoon if you try to move anything out of there that's not given to you.
if I'm seen.
That is also fair. That cheese is floating through the air. Do you see that?
Doesn't he still have Unseen Servant as well?
I do, actually.
Doesn't make the cheese any less floaty through the air.
But if enough ladles start clacking together like there's a haunting, they might evacuate for a while.
Yeah. They might figure out what that's all about. We're not a nice man.
No.
So you're haunting the kitchen using unseen servant. Is that what you're doing?
And seeming.
I think one of Molly's favorite things to say to me is "you bastard man."
You bastard man.
You bastard man. All right, so you're haunting the kitchen staff.
Mm-hmm.
There's two men. Little man and bastard man.
While they're trying to prepare a meal for this evening's fine dining event, since one of the missing children has returned home. Well, one of the missing child has returned. The prodigal daughter has returned. So what initially starts off as them being taken aback and wary of what's going on, you eventually realize that they're not being harmed by anything. And you watch as one of the less timid individuals walks forward and grabs one of the ladles out of the air. And then holds on to it for a second. And then goes over to a pot and starts to stir the pot and hangs the ladle back up on the hook after a few stirs.
Sorry, not seeming. Mislead. But same effect.
Why are you traumatizing my family's kitchen staff?
You're having a conversation in the kitchen about your dad. Or not the kitchen, the library.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just like, oh god, these are innocent people. Why are you doing this to them?
The garden is beautifully tended, and you can see there's a lot of stone work in the garden as well. Topiaries that have been trimmed perfectly to hold different shapes, and the lawn is immaculately cut. There is a small, for lack of a better way of saying it, it's like a gazebo type area, but it's not raised, it's flat, and it just has like a tent that's kind of attached there. It sets out on gravel with several lounging chairs and a large table there. There is a pitcher of water set out for you all that actually has condensation, giving you the image that it is cold water that is being served.
Oh, this is way too tamed.
Yes, there's no wildness here.
Yep. Zora's gonna wander around taking cuttings of things.
Mm-mm.
You wouldn't download a plant? You bet I would.
I feel like Zora has her own seed vault somewhere,
Oh,
just in case the world ever goes to shit.
In her canon-wise, in her pocket, she keeps just seeds from wherever she goes, and will just randomly druid craft them elsewhere.
Nice.
So she basically
growing,
has pocket mulch.
She's growing invasive species in new places.
Yep.
You're the reason we have kudzu.
Yeah, I was gonna
Thank
say,
you.
kudzu from Pineheart has somehow made it down to Jopus Landing. Nobody knows how or why.
You're the reason we have kudzu. Damn it, Sarah.
Welcome. You never have to mow your yard again. If you stand still too long, it may try to strangle you, but you don't have to mow it.
You'll have no trees because they're all going to be cut off and choked out, but
You never have to mow your grass.
Because there is none.
I gotta admit, though, going to places like even here where I live, not far from my mom, it's up on this little mountainside, and she has kudzu that grows down in the little vale there, and it blankets the entire area. And in the summertime, when that shit goes crazy, it's amazing to see. It's this huge blanket of kudzu on either side of the road, and then the road just kind of winds up through there. So, yeah, sorry, got distracted by kudzu. Something happens. The garden is like I said, it's immaculately trimmed. You notice though that not too far out is a large building. Probably about 40 feet long by about maybe 20 or 30 feet wide. And you can see that the building itself is interesting because it is not a flat roof, it is a curved roof. Actually, it's not curved, it's a sloped roof, but you can see that it is made of multiple panes of glass.
Found the fucking greenhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's in there now.
In there, it is exactly as you would expect it to be in a greenhouse. It's a bit warmer than what you would see. There seems to be a slight mist that hangs over everything. A large man in a shirt that has no sleeves. You can see that they've been torn. His breeches are covered in dirt here and there. But he has an honest, if not homely face. As you walk in, he looks at you with kind of a nose that looks like it's been broken and then set poorly and then broken again and set even worse. He's probably 6.5 feet tall. But he lumbers over to you, his head getting really high to the ceiling. But can I help you with anything, miss?
I'm just looking around, just admiring the flowers. Do you need any help in? I mean, I'm assuming you don't need any help. You probably know exactly what you're doing, but they're lovely.
You like the flowers, in?
Mm-hmm.
I'll show you my favorite one.
Okay.
And he turns to walk down one of the aisles, and you can see there on a small table, there's a planter, and it has in it only like 4 of these, and they're bulb grown, but you can see they come out with thick leaves that are not broad, but then they end in a white cupped flower with the stem you can see sticking up in the middle of it. He says, "This is my favorite. It's a piece of grass what had grown into a flower."
It's lovely. Is it specific to this reason?
No, they found it somewhere.
Oh, the family found it?
Some of them did, yeah.
I don't recall seeing any out in the garden proper. Is it not hardy enough to be out?
They don't like this place, and I'm allowed to grow this one here, but they don't really like them in much other places.
She's gonna give the plant kind of a once over. Mm-hmm. Would she know anything about the plant as far as, like, is this poisonous plant?
It is not.
Okay. Oh.
It's actually hang on a second here. I have these and I totally blanked on what they're called.
I know that feel.
I'm like, this is one of my favorite flowers, and I'm like, oh crap, I can't remember what it's called now. Poop.
Oh, well. Horrible name for a flower.
It is. They smell great. No, my brain is gone right now as far as what kind it is. So,
kind of be like, well, we're here with one of the family members on business, because she's saying like she doesn't know what the story is known by around here. I mean, if you would like any help, or if you wouldn't mind me perhaps helping, it's a lot nicer out here than in there.
I don't mind.
Okay. And she'll just kind of hang out with him for a little while before, eventually probably getting hunted down.
You can see that in here, most of the things that are here are more like spices and utilities, so like a lot of herbs. So it's like I said, you can tell that this is grown in here for the use by the family. He takes one in his big fingers and he starts to rub it. And he takes the leaf off and rubs it, and then he kind of like holds his fingers out and holds the leaf out, and he says, "Rub it on your fingers."
Oh,
and he
okay.
takes a whiff, and it smells like mint mixed with something else, as it's a mint basil. And he says, "I like the way this one smells."
It does smell lovely. It's a cooking herb?
Mm-hmm.
Mint in basil.
I don't cook much, but that's what it's for.
Are all the herbs out here for cooking?
Most of them, yeah. There's so many. He points to some of the flowers that are just here for being pretty, but they get transplanted out into the garden, but most of them aren't.
Yeah. Like I said, she'll just hang out and probably help where she can, make conversation with him, keep him company.
He's a nice enough guy. His name is Tom. Tomm. And he sounds simple, but you can tell that he just knows, he just deals with what he does, you know.
Yeah. Every now and then she'll like druid craft stuff to like make it a little bit blossomier. Like grow faster.
You druid crafting some of them for him?
Not like to like bloom into like a bush or anything, but just, you know, egg them on. Just a little bit of an oomph.
Okay. So that's where you're at. Hang on just 1 second here. Now it's going to bother me.
Don't worry, I'll remember as soon as you're trying to go to sleep.
Yeah, I'll wake up and message you. Be like, it was this! Anyways, so you end up spending some time there. And eventually there is a call placed out to everyone that dinner is being served. The dining hall is a huge place. A large table is spread out, and you can see 2 smaller tables on either side. There is more people in attendance than just the family, as you can see that others from the neighborhood, some people, Zastari, you would recognize. You had not seen them until now, but your siblings make an appearance as well. Your father's chair is noticeably empty. The whole affair is very somber. Each portion is announced and served by a team of hands. Each one is delectable, and while decorum is still being adhered to due to some of our guests, faux pas are overlooked if the wrong fork is used, or if there is a loud, exuberant digesting of foods, slurping from spoons, chewing with mouthfuls, things like that. Zora just uses the same one.
The fork is a fork, man.
Remember, it's just inside out. Or is it outside in?
Outside in.
It's outside in. Yeah, that's right. It's outside in.
I didn't even take etiquette lessons.
Use the biggest spoon you can find just to drink the soup.
The ladle from the kitchen.
Yeah.
No, the grapefruit spoons are serrated.
Oh God, that's right, because they're used to gouge out the. I forgot.
Power move.
My sister, is her husband with her?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Everybody is in attendance. The family is there, looking as somber as possible. Your eldest brother gives you a nod, but his face is placid. His mouth is a tight line across his face. He still remembers the embarrassment of the last encounter you two had, and so he says very little in the way. As the night plays on, eventually let's see, you have your brother and sister
I have
and
two
her
brothers
husband.
and a sister.
Right, you have the other
then
brother.
Sister's married. I planned the second brother was betrothed. Because they were holding out for somebody high standing for the oldest brother. But that may have changed in the 8 years that she's been gone. So.
He is now married. He is the younger brother. The second one is married now,
Okay.
and his wife is also in attendance. When he sees you, I believe your siblings, if I'm not mistaken, when we discussed it, your siblings don't have the same harbor of feelings that they do.
No.
So
and
when your
she
sister
sent them letters over the 8 years, just with no way to contact her back. Basically, just letting them know that yes, she was still alive and that she was okay. Because her siblings, with the exception of her eldest brother, she was still close to them. So
your sister and brother, the ones that you like, are actually happy to see you, but you can tell that they are
mother's there, so they can't. Yeah.
keeping the decorum. But your sister gives you a little wave, and your brother nods and smiles at you as he looks up. The evening wanes on, and eventually everyone parts ways. The dinner being concluded and drinks being had. Your mother and your brothers and your brothers and your sister gravitate towards you with their significant others. The conversation is light enough. With your older brother starting off the conversation with, he goes, pardon me, Zastari, glad that you could make it with your friends.
Silverl, I hope that there are no hard feelings.
I was merely doing as I was told. I hope there are no hard feelings on your part either.
Of course not. I mean,
excellent.
I would have appreciated some clothes, but... And she says it, like, teasingly. She doesn't... Mm-hmm. She's not trying to be malicious about it. It's more just, like, would have been nice if you had let me actually get my clothes. But I understand that what you were trying to do. It's fine.
Yeah, he's never been the one to get the jest, so his thin line of lip returns for a moment with a downturn at the mouth. Right. Well, again, apologies. And he turns to engage somebody else in conversation. Your sister and your brother have fawned over you in conversation, talking to you in quiet tones.
She's more inclined to introduce the party to those two than to her oldest brother.
Oh, and they are more than happy to meet each and every one of you in turn. I take it that Ezra is still in human form?
He tried to stay in human form as much as he could.
Okay. With little bouts and intervals there, I'm sure that you were able to maintain it, because you can maintain it for hours at a time, if I'm not mistaken.
Actually, I do think I have I think I have a limit of like an hour.
Yeah, that's right. It is an hour. I remember that because we had that conversation last time you got in trouble. Yep.
got in trouble. I mean, around all these people and around like just hiring people, he probably, once he couldn't maintain it, he probably wouldn't have joined for as long. He may have come for supper, ate a little bit, but he probably wouldn't have stayed.
As the stairs becoming uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Would Tangaroa be there, or would Tangaroa also flee the scene as soon as dinner was retired?
I will say Ezra would have said for you to stay. For Tangaroa. He would have said don't worry about it and just to stay if you're needed.
The party is introduced and questions are made about the tall figure that they saw with those horns.
I have a very wide range of traveling companions, so yes, they were horns, but he is not of the negative persuasion, shall we say.
Oh, lovely. And
As
your
we
friend
are
there?
all aware, of course, what you look like is not what you are.
Of course. And your friend, Zora, was it? What a unique coloring you have. And he motions at the... Where are the scales at, and are they visible? I know that you said some are around the mark.
Yeah, they're pretty much covering the birthmark on the left-hand side. Well, like slowly going down it, as I just hit the microphone.
It's okay. Did you come by those naturally?
Yes?
Well, I mean opposed to being cursed or something. Fantastic.
They're natural.
Fascinating. The conversation, though, after a few moments, very lighthearted, becomes very quiet as you can almost feel the chill in the room as Mother Dearest enters. She walks over to you and says, sorry, hang on just one second here. She looks at you and says, "Oh, well, I see your menagerie is still here. I've come to tell you that I'm going to retire for the evening. I pray you will be gone at some point in time in the morning."
We will depart as time dictates.
Yes, well, we have an outside source, a healer of sorts that we're going to bring in to try to see if we can't do something for your father, but he is being resistant. Anyways. Good night, Zastari.
Good night, Mother. Oh, no, you're right. Good night, Lady Zilstina.
She kind of passes her eyes over all of you and then turns and leaves. Catching your brother, your oldest brother, by the arm and kind of like march escorting him out of the room as you do. Your sister just shudders and says, "Be very careful while you're here."
Oh, that's the plan.
And Sylvan, she's gonna talk to Axel and say, "Could you keep an eyeball on the mother?"
To Axel?
Yeah, to Axel.
How out loud is that?
It's muttered fairly quiet.
Okay.
Cap, as the mom is pulling her brother out of the room, Zastari is going to use message to tell her brother to meet her in the attic at 2 past midnight, or whatever
Sure.
however we wanted to know the time. But she wants to make sure
Sure.
that there's nobody else awake at the time.
Okay, not a problem. So yeah, he kind of looks around for a moment and then sees you and catches your eye and just kind of. Axel looks at you and says back in Sylvan, "She looks like she'd tear my wings off and feed them to me."
So don't be seen.
I'm gonna fly high in the rafters if that's all right with you.
I would very strongly suggest it.
And you don't see it. Well, he flashes into view for a moment and grabs his tail and gives you kind of a worried look and then disappears again and flies off.
Telepathically, if you sense any danger or get too much of the heebie-jeebies, just come back.
I'm sorry, I said tail because I forgot. He's not an imp, he's a sprite. But he appears for a moment, looks at you and goes... He goes... And then just disappears and flies off. He's like, if I die, I'm coming back for you.
If you die, I have extra summoning components.
It's not the part that you can bring me back. It's the part about the leaving that I'm worried about.
No, trust me, I would be concerned about it too, but just stay well out of sight, and anything feels off, come back.
I'm fairly certain it doesn't feel pleasant, and I'm pretty sure I don't want to find out.
No, I'm sure the death part doesn't. I mean, if you can... Like, she's now just, like, rambling in Sylvan here. She's like...
Zastari's just not
If it feels off, come back.
Is this still in her head, or is this out loud?
This part was telepathically. Once he's like,
Okay.
it was telepathically.
I was like, it still would not shock anybody in the party because we've heard Zora talking to Axel before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And everybody knows that Axel likes to give just enough lip. I mean, he's gonna do it for her, but at the same time,
he's gonna bitch about it the whole time.
Pretty much.
Yes.
Yep. Next time, summon me as a sprite. Summon me as something else with teeth and fangs. He slips away.
When he was a snail.
Snoot. Damn you. Pseudo dragon.
Yeah.
I was trying to say pseudo dragon at the same time she said snail, so I started.
So give it a snoot.
Yeah.
Nope, I gotta go make a new creature. A
pseudo
CR1/16 snoot.
It's
It's just a snail with wings, but with like a long pseudo dragon head.
Oh,
all right.
My.
So,
What have I done?
you're all shown to your rooms, and they are very nice rooms. They are very nice, like Zora uncomfortably nice. In the wee hours of the night.
I'll say, but before
Mhm.
Satiel goes to bed, he puts an alarm at the door, and when he lays down in bed, he also uses Liam's tiny hut around the bed.
Paranoid much?
What about the rest of
excessive.
you? Are there anything that you want to do? Tangaroa, Ezra, Mello, Zora?
Somebody comes to off him. The fuck? Very loud noises all throughout the house.
I mean, there's a huge bed in your room. Your backpacks are set there, so Ezra, Tangaroa, Mello, the house is empty with the exception of a few people that are passing through to tidy up for the rest of the night. But what are you guys doing? You just going to bed?
Time to cuddle.
You sneak out of your room and head to his. Okay.
I mean, Zastari probably would have told the Majordomo that those two are to be put in the same room.
Okay, that's fine. We can say that that's the case.
They are betrothed.
That's not what she tells him. She just says, "Put them
Have
in
they
the same
even
room."
told the party that they've become a thing? That's the thing, though, too.
I mean, you guys,
Hey.
you left together. You arrived back together. She's
Maybe
just
they're
like,
really good
they're
friends.
just.
Yeah.
Tonga did sort of talk to some members of the party about date advice.
Mellow.
with Ezra.
Mellow might
So
know.
Mello would know.
Yeah, Mello would know.
What's better than this? Just guys being dudes.
Being bro.
Just dudes being gay.
I'll finish that in typing.
That's a good thing.
I will say, if you guys are staying in the same room, you're missing out on a great opportunity to accidentally stumble into Mello's room, who has completely disassembled the bed to make a pillow fort.
Oh my
I want
God.
to join the pillow fort.
When you originally said disassemble the bed, my thought was literally to disassemble the bed, and I was like, wait, no, you just mean take the covers and sheets and
Yeah.
pillows off.
So does that mean Mello's getting a hold of both Ezra and Tongo to also take the pillows and blankets from their room to include them in said pillow fort?
I just see the door opening up and just hearing Mello with no aplomb. Ezra, Tigarella, bring your pillows and blankets in here now. He's like
Get
yelling
over
down
here.
the hallway.
We're having
They're
a
just, like, opening the door, like-
sleepover.
Guys,
What?
plan.
Bring your shit with me.
I'd be down for it. Ezra, yeah, uh-huh.
All
I'll do it.
three of them are cuddling. We got like Ezra Little Spoon, Tonga Big Spoon, Mellow Extra Big Spoon.
And Archibald sitting on
Oh,
Yes.
his post.
No, he gets his own pillow. It's the softest pillow. He can just like
Yes.
cuddle into it. He like
Yeah, he's
sinks in
roosted
even.
down into it. He's got his head tucked under his wing.
Sarah, I feel like we threw our chips into the wrong thing. I feel
should
like
have got a
Gert
chicken.
should have gotten a chicken.
Next time I summon Axe, I'll just summon him as a chicken.
Axel
I'm
just
sure he'd
looks
love
at you,
that.
and you've never seen the look on a chicken that looks so.
I've never
You've
seen
never
a
seen a
chicken
chicken
contemplating murder.
You've never seen a chicken hold a knife, and this is different.
It's the goose from an Untitled Goose Game.
Yes.
Mhm.
Our Axel as chicken just goes. You don't even need to speak it. You know.
He's just like waddling back and
Bark.
forth.
Yeah, no, she.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
no.
Hold on. Oh, love
My favorite image is just. Bark.
so good.
All right.
Zora's
Now
just gonna do a lap of her room and probably maybe up and down the hallway with detect magic.
Okay. Oh, yeah. A lot of it is just enchantment magic to make things look nice. Like the sconces are magical; they have continual flame on them. There are a couple of other items that other items that glow, but you can tell that most of it is just enchantment, illusion, or just something simple to make it like spruced up and look nicer. Your room, as a matter of fact, the room itself in the four corners, there are small, almost imperceptible discs that have been mounted there, and they have enchantment magic on them. You can tell that that's what's keeping the room at like a comfortable temperature the whole time.
Yeah, magical air conditioning. Or heating, whichever.
Whichever you need. The rest of the evening passes as you guys climb into your pillow fort. Setiel gets into his tiny hut. Zora realizes that there's a lot of magic in this place.
Did Axel ever come back with any information one way or the other?
Yes. As a matter of fact, Axel comes back to you and he appears in front of you and he just starts to shake his head back and forth slowly. I've seen some wicked things in my time. That lady's the wickedest thing I've ever seen. Not be surprised to me if you cut her open, her blood runs black.
That's... What was she doing?
You know the young one that she took out of the room with her?
Yeah.
She marched him out of the room. She was giving him an earful or two, honestly. The truth of the matter is that something else seemed to be going on. I couldn't quite catch the conversation with him. When she shut her door, I wasn't able to get past it.
Yep.
But I could sort of hear some of the information that was coming through. Parts of it.
What did you hear?
She says that the father's planning to die on the morrow. Like, wakes up in the morning, will not be here with us anymore.
Planning to die. No one typically plans. Can you go keep watch over the father's door, or better yet, in the room if you can? I'll go try and tell some folks.
I'll be honest with you, Zora. There's a bit of trouble moving around this room. It's like there's sort of barred against somebody moving around in them quietly the way that I do.
Considering this is Astari's home, that does not surprise me.
Yeah, it's like they're warded against something like me moving through there.
Something specifically? Like?
I'm not sure. I just know it's keep me from moving along. If a bigger folk like you were to sneak through there, I can't say that it wouldn't have the same effect, but I know that my little magical ass isn't getting anywhere.
Which may be all the better. Keep an eye on the father. I'll pass on the information, and she would message. Well, does message need a visual component?
Nope.
Just have to be
and
within 120 feet.
Is Astari's room within 120 feet?
We'll say for the rule of cool, it absolutely is.
She'll message and be like, your mother's room is warded, and Axel can't get in. He heard something questionable, that your father is planning to die in the morning.
Well, that doesn't seem right, but thank you.
Second message. You're welcome.
I will, I'll see what I can do.
And she'll...
I promise I won't do anything unadvisable. After all, it wouldn't be a girls' night without you.
No.
Zistari's using her own message, like, back and forth to continue that conversation, because she also has message.
Like walkie-talkies.
Yeah. No, I promise I won't do anything untoward.
I've known you long enough to know that's probably half truth.
3/4 truth. This time.
I'll have Axel watching the room. If anything happens, he'll notify me immediately.
I'm meeting with my brother in about an hour, and then I'm going to go sneak in and see my father.
Have fun, I suppose. Click.
Over and out.
There's like an audible click or something. I don't know.
You bide your time and you make your way up to the attic. Go ahead and give me a stealth check, please.
Oh boy.
Because I'm pretty sure you're not just tromping up to the attic.
Oh god, no. That is an 18.
Okay. Quite enough. You make your way up to the attic in a very familiar room. A little bit has changed as things have been moved out of storage and gotten rid of, and things have also been stored here. But sure enough, come around the time, the attic door is moved and your brother arrives.
Are you wearing anything that Mother gave you? It would likely be jewelry.
No. I was retiring for the evening. I've taken off all of my jewelry.
Good. What has been going on?
My father's ill.
Is
and
he?
Dying. Well, I mean, you saw him. Yes, he's ill.
Mother didn't happen to give you a hard time after she pulled you from the room, did she?
No, she simply told me what she expects of me as the future patriarch for this family. The place that I will hold, the weight that will be mantled upon my shoulders. A weight, might I add, that could have been left easier had a marriage been able to be arranged between you and some other noble house in this area. But no, that's fine. Skip around the countryside, do as you will.
You know you don't have to do what she tells you once you become patriarch, right?
I don't have to do what she says. But I take her advice quite seriously. Her father was, after all, the ruler of this city, and she helped our father guide this city along even further.
And you
I believe.
don't think that the way we've procured all of those titles is suspect at all?
Zastari, I'm about to become the most powerful person in the city. I don't care.
I didn't think you would. Look, I am sorry for the hardships that my choices have caused for you. We weren't close. I mean, there's a good solid 40 years between us.
Yes.
But you're still my brother, whether you like it or not.
Yes, well. Father has said he doesn't care anymore. That you can go your own way, and I echo those sentiments. I won't spend any more of our money trying to track you down. You'll be a small blip on the screen, or a small blip in the pages of history. There was a fourth child, but she was unruly and went her own way. The end.
Right. Well. Brother dearest, do watch how you treat the common people of this city. Because remember, there will always be more of them than there are of us. Always.
I know how to treat the commoners. They'll be fine. Not that it's any concern of yours. Don't come sniffing around here anymore. There'll be no handouts for you if you ever fall on hard times, which, given the rabble that you're rousing around with, I'm pretty sure would be soon. I'm surprised you're not destitute as it is.
Oh, brother, I was always better at managing money than you were.
I'm sorry. It's just you saying that. Me looking over at my equipment, I have 254 platinum, about 12,000 gold.
She's also sitting on a substantial amount of money as well. Like, yes, brother, I've always been better at managing my money than you, but that's besides the point. These walls and this city have ears. You would do best to remember that. I was going to extend a proverbial olive branch, offer you services, if you so needed them, of the illicit kind, but it's clear that you're capable of doing it on your own. So, best of luck holding on to a city as mother's puppet. Because, that's what she has planned for you. Her plan, not yours. And then she is going to walk off.
As you exit the attic, Give me a perception. Actually, what's your passive perception?
19.
Perfect. You see a figure leaving your father's room. It's too tall to be your mother.
Would Axel have seen it?
Axel watched as the figure exited the room. He did not see him go into the room, only exiting the room.
If he let her know, she'd tell him to follow it.
Absolutely, he would, because that's what you asked him to do. Oi, wake up! A bit of a bastard leaving the father's room.
Message Zastari, just because she doesn't know if Zastari knows.
The figure starts to creep its way down the hallway quietly. Ooh. Rounds one of the hallways that kind of dead ends in a window, and you lose sight of him. As Axel follows around the corner, the figure is almost gone. Like, the figure is just vanished.
Zasari is creeping towards her father's door.
Okay.
And he's going to ease it open.
As you do so, you don't see anything in the room. Your father's still lying in repose there on his bed.
She's going to check on him to see if he's still breathing.
You walk over and you don't see that his chest is rising and falling, or maybe it's just so imperceptible that you can't really tell.
She's going to pull a mirror out of her component's pouch and hold it in front of his face just to see if there's any bug.
As you do so, the two small candles in this room are instantly flooded out. And you can see there's room. The room is lit up. Standing in the doorway is your mother and your eldest brother. And you can see nothing but accusation of murder on their face towards you. I knew it. It was all a ruse for you to come back and kill him. Quickly, call the gods! 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 And immediately the cry goes up. And we're going to deal with the rest of this next week. All right, ladies and gentlemen, huge thanks to Zastari, who is being played by Maddie, Zora, who is being played by Sarah, Tangaro, who's being played by Molly, Tatiel being played by Eric, Ezra being played by Q, and Mello being played by Steve. All of these wonderful folks can be seen here every Monday, but also on Tuesday nights, we do have Vampire the Masquerade. If D&D may not be the only thing you're into, I really, 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 really suggest you guys check out Tuesday night's Vampire the Masquerade. That has Sarah and Eric in it. And look, I got clientele and things like that on Tuesdays, but the hype that they have in that room, I'm not going to lie, it's a little bit of jealousy coming up because they love their Tuesday night game. It looks like it's a lot of fun. They have a big time blast. I know their GM, Jason, their storyteller, Jason is fantastic. He's been doing this for just about as long as I have. And if nothing else, if you're from any other part of the world, listening to Jason talk is probably one of the best things ever in this world. Because he has this beautiful southern accent and he does it the whole way through. And they're playing Valley by Night, so it's set here in the Tennessee Valley area. Which is where Dire Bear is based out of, and so his accent matches perfectly. On Wednesday nights, we have Monster Hunter, or not Monster Hunter,
Week.
Monster of the Week. Monster of the Week is a fantastic game. If you've never seen it played or haven't, or you're like, hey, what is it? You really should check it out. Another great storyteller on that one is Q. I've personally got to play in one of the Monster of the Week games run by Q, and I absolutely loved it. I mean, I pulled an old school rotary phone and just straight up smacked a monster in the mouth with it. I mean, you can't get any better than that. So check that out on Wednesday nights, and then on Thursdays we have more D&D with one of the newer adventures. As a matter of fact, I think it's the newest adventure until Icewind Dale comes out, and that is Descent into Avernus, being run by Maddie. And they are, God, what level are you guys at now?
They just hit level 6.
And they are straight in hell. They are in hell, because that's what the whole thing is about. But every night that we run a game, which is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we are on from 6 p.m. till 9 p.m. Central Time. Thank you all for showing up and for supporting us. We appreciate everything. If you would, if you can, throw us some bits, throw us a sub, or you can support us on our Patreon, which we'll be updating and adding more information to that coming soon, so please watch for changes there. Remember that all of the funding that you guys give us just goes to help support our licenses and all the subscriptions and things like that we run. A huge shout out to D&D Beyond for allowing us to utilize their tool and supporting us in that way. Again, don't forget this Saturday, the Pop Culture and Comic Expo here in Huntsville at the Von Braun Civic Center. Don't forget your mask. Is going on. I will be running 3 games, one Saturday at 10 o'clock, another one Saturday at 1, and then one on Sunday. So come out and play with me, and that's a lot of fun. Again, you could win a chance to, or you get a chance to win the Legendary Bundle from D&D Beyond. That's almost a $700 value. It's like $688 for, and it is everything that is out right now, including Rick and Morty, including the Mythic Odysseys of Theron, or Mythic Odysseys of Theron, which was the last book released, which is a Magic the Gathering crossover. All of that is in there, so come out and see us. And then the following weekend, we're having Free RPG Day. If you can't make it to Huntsville because it is a bit of a trek, check out your local gaming store and see what they've got running on, and check out all the stuff that they have to offer through Free RPG Day. If you are in the Huntsville area, stop by Lucky Dice Cafe. I'll be there running games, and you can win another chance to win a Legendary Bundle from D&D Beyond. And then we have Gen Con the following week, so I'll be running games all week there. The Gen Con registration is open now, so you can purchase your tickets. I will have the schedule up here soon. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at DireBearAC. On Facebook, we are at the Dire Bear Adventuring Company. And make sure to spread the love around wherever you can. Thank you guys for watching tonight. We really appreciate you. And until either tomorrow or next Monday, love you guys. Take care. Bye now.